Hello everyone, we have looked at this verse before, but today I want to actually go over two scenarios that some people in the comments have told me about, then come up with a conclusion that should make sense for anyone who is objective and anyone who is actually looking for the truth as opposed to trying to prove what they believe in. So with that being said, let's look at verse number 78 of chapter 6 one more time. When he saw the sun rising, he said to the sun, "This is my Lord. This is greater," or this is Akbar. So Abraham looks at the sun, sees the sun, and this is what he says. "This is my Lord, and this is Akbar," or this is greater, older, more senior. However, what you have to pay attention to is that the word Shams is actually a feminine word in Arabic. What that means is that whenever you use something that is referring to the sun or to the word Shams, you have to use it in feminine sense. Look at here. For example, in the Quran, right in this exact same verse, it tells us, it uses the word bazigha. Bazigha is what? Is feminine. Why? Because Shams is feminine. And then when it's talking about the sun setting, it says falamma afalat. Afalat is the feminine version of the verb. So because it's referring to the Shams or to the sun, Allah uses the feminine version of the verb or the adjective. However, when you look at here, when you look at these four words, and it's literally four words, the word number one is haza. Haza is masculine. Rabbi is word number two, masculine. Again, you have haza, word number three, which is masculine. And then we have word number four, which is akbar, which is again masculine. So none of these four words in this sentence, which is haza rabbi, haza akbar, or this is my Lord, this is akbar, none of them is feminine. Consequently, we can reach this conclusion that none of them is actually referring to the Shams or the sun. Otherwise, they should have been, or they would have been, for sure, feminine. Otherwise, the whole grammar of the sentence doesn't make sense at all. As Shams, the sun, is feminine as evidenced by bazighatan and by afalat. And then Akbar, however, is masculine as evidenced by hadha and then rab and then akbar. Remember, feminine of akbar is what? It's cobra. Feminine of akbar is cobra. So we can reach this conclusion, as I mentioned in my previous videos, that akbar cannot be referring to the sun or al-shams unless the author didn't understand basic Arabic grammar. So Abraham, we can say, is referring to a masculine god. Again, a masculine god represented by Hadha, Rabbi, Hadha, Akbar, which in this case would be actually devil or Iblis. Yes, there is the sun, but the real god behind this sun who has deceived people and caused them to worship the sun is the devil. So Abraham is referring to the behind the scenes, to the actual devil behind this deception, who has deceived mankind, deceived the people of his time, and caused them to worship the sun instead of the actual true God. So Abraham is referring to the behind the scene of the action. Now, just so you are aware, if it was for the sun, it would have been like this. And you can please go ahead to any person who knows Arabic grammar, to any scholar, anyone who knows anything about basic Arabic grammar, and run this sentence by him or her. It doesn't matter. So this should have been like that. If it was referring to the sun, it should have been Hadehi Rabbati Hadehi Kobra. Hadehi, again, is feminine. Rabbati is feminine. Again, Hadehi, which is feminine, and Kobra, which is the feminine. And all of them are referring to what? To Al-Shams, or the sun, which in Arabic is also feminine. Now let's take a few minutes to look at verse number 76 and 77 of the same chapter, and then you're going to see two other objects of worship at the time of Abraham. It's very interesting. Here, when the night covered Abraham with darkness, he saw a star, Ra'a Kawkaba. He saw a star, a Kawkab. Now, Kawkab is actually masculine, remember that. Then he said, in regards to that star, this is my Lord, this is my Lord. But when it said, Falamma afala, again, Allah uses the masculine. So here it's correct. Everything is masculine. We can check it off. The grammar makes complete sense here. Now let's go to verse number 77 and check that out as well. Here it says, and when Abraham saw the moon rising. Interesting. Look at the word badiqa here. It's referring to the moon, which is masculine. So remember, moon is masculine. But here the baziqa is referring to the moon, and baziqan is also masculine. Remember in the previous verse it was saying baziqatan, but here it's baziqa. It's the exact same word, but here it's masculine. In the previous verse 78 it was feminine. So, and then right after that it says qala hadha, again masculine, Rabbi again masculine, afala again masculine. So again you see the moon is masculine. Everything after the moon is also masculine, as you can see, right? So the grammar makes sense. It's correct. But as soon as it was talking about the sun, and you saw that I showed that to you, you see it's the exact same word, badiqatan, uses the feminine version of it. Look, he's really looking at three things. First, the star comes up. The star is a little one. And then the moon comes up. Moon is a little bit bigger than the star. And then the sun comes up. Sun is the biggest one, right? So in that there is a lesson. So there are two possibilities. First possibility is that Abraham is referring to a third God, which is bigger than the other two gods. So what is the third God? The third God is the sun, or Ashams, and the other two gods is the Kawkab, or the star, and the moon, or Qamar. Prophet Abraham at this point is comparing three gods. Each of these gods are represented by that devil behind the scene who has deceived people of his era and causing them to worship the wrong God. But the bigger third God is represented by Akbar, which in this case means bigger, older, or more senior. And I have another video I go over the meanings of it in dictionaries and all those things. So what does that mean? That means that the current Islamic sects unknowingly worship, I say unknowingly because I used to do that as well, unknowingly worship the bigger God of Arabia, whatever that is. We don't know what that is. They must have had three gods, and you know that Quran actually mentions that. It says, أَرَأَيْتَ اللَّاتَ وَالْعُزَّى وَمَنَاةَ الثَّالِثَةَ الْأُخْرَى. Did you see the Lot and the Uzza and Manat, the third one? Unknowingly, Satan, after the Prophet, during the reign of the Umayyad, Satan deceived them, and they are worshipping the idol Allah. Again, this is a possibility. They just don't know it. So Allah, Yahweh, I just want you to keep that in mind, that our God, when we talk about the creator of the heavens and the earth, we are talking about Allah. What does Allah mean? Allah means Al-Elah. Al-Elah means the God, the only God, the one and only God. Other name in the Bible is known as Yahweh, the passionate God, the God who is jealous. You cannot associate anything or anyone with him. He does not share his glory with anyone. Why? Because he's very passionate. He's very jealous when it comes to his glory. You can't share it with anyone or anything. He's the one, the only one. No other God but him. But that God that is the creator of the heaven and the earth is not bigger or smaller than any other God. It's not bigger, no smaller. You cannot, there's no size for him. You can't say he's bigger, He's smaller. There's no such thing. He's not an object like the object that we see with our eyes. So because of that, there is no God but him. So you cannot say that God is bigger or smaller. You cannot say that Allahu Akbar. You cannot use the word Akbar after him. If we consider the first possibility, we can easily understand that the current Islamic sects worship the devil, Iblis, or Lucifer, because any other God but Allah or Yahovah represents the devil. Any other God that you worship but the one true and only God, you are worshiping the devil. It doesn't matter what you name it. You can name it the sun, you can name it the moon, you can name it anything you like. There's only one God who has created the heavens and the earth. Any other God but him, you're worshiping the devil unknowingly. Now, second possibility, is this something that I've discussed before, is that Abraham is referring to a masculine God represented by Akbar, which in this case is the devil Iblis. In this case, Akbar actually represents the sun god, S-U-N, sun god, or Shams, sun god, that has been worshipped for centuries, and also is on the back of every US dollar. You can actually turn it around, you see a sun on top of a triangle. Sun god is very famous. You can actually research it yourself. Sun god is representative of the Lucifer or Iblis, who Masonic masters for some reason believe illuminated Adam and Eve by causing them to eat from the tree of knowledge. He, Iblis, Lucifer, caused Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. Because they had from the tree of knowledge, then they became illuminated, they became very knowledgeable, and so basically they believe they have to worship him, so they call him the sun god. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can use it. If you have not watched my previous lecture about the great lesson from Hussein ibn Ali, who was Prophet Muhammad's grandson, and why he named his son as Ali Akbar, Ali Awsad, Ali Asghar, and then you understand why the reason was. Because obviously back in the day, he could not publicly object to the policies of the Umayyad and this new version of Islam, which was the Umayyad Islam that was coming from Sham, the area of Sham, and later on it became traditional Sunni Islam, what we know as traditional Sunni Islam, and currently Shia Islam as well. All of them are the same. And he could not back then publicly object because they would have killed him. He named his son as such, as Ali Akbar. So he put the Akbar after the name of his son, and he named his son as Ali because obviously they were cursing Ali back then. But the Akbar thing is trying to silently teach people that, look, if you have an Akbar, if you call Allah Akbar, if you say Allahu Akbar, it means that you have to have Allahu Awsat, you have to have Allahu Asghar as well. It means you are basically having three gods and you are worshipping the bigger god of the three. So that's what it means. So that was the great lesson of Hussein ibn Ali. I will put the link down there in the description. Watch it. So it's really important. That is not our God. That's not what we worship. These people are unknowingly worshipping Lucifer, Shaitan, people of the devil. They had the light, but they chose the darkness. They had the calendar of the sun, they had the solar calendar, but they chose the calendar of the darkness, the calendar of the moon, the lunar calendar. They had the word of God. They have the source of light. They had the Quran, they had the Torah, they had the original gospel, but they chose the hadith. They chose hearsay. They chose he said, she said. They used those rumors and hadiths to create what they call Sharia law, their own religion, based on that hearsay, he said, she said. So that is a huge difference. I want you to know. Don't think, I know some of us have been born into this religion. It was a Satan worshipping religion, but we have now found the way. It's upon us to educate our families and wake them up. Allah is the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings to all of you.